And how many more times do we have to uncover it before somebody, such as, I don't know, maybe Aaliyah, maybe the state, maybe the organization that's supposed to be policing themselves, such as the Alabama Sheriff's Association? Where are they? You want me to tell you where they are? While Nick Smith is doing whatever the hell he wants up there, tons of corruption, doing whatever he wants, ruining people's lives, destroying families in that county. The organization that's supposed to be policing themselves, that claim they police themselves, is the Alabama Sheriff's Association. To date, I have not seen one of the 67 sheriffs in Alabama, or not counting Nick Smith's 66, speak out against Nick Smith. Not one. Where are you? All right, let's sit down and talk about this one together. I want you to picture this like it's just me and you in a room, maybe at a kitchen table, and I'm just laying it all out straight for you. No podium, no crowd, just a real conversation with you and I. So let's start here. For years now, folks in Walker County have seen this man, TJ Armstrong, walking around with a badge on his chest, a duty belt strapped around his waist, a weapon on his hip, handcuffs, extra mags, the whole law enforcement setup. He looked every bit of the part of a sworn officer. You probably saw him in news clips. Maybe you read an article where he was quoted as Deputy Armstrong. He even gave an interview back in 2019 where he bragged about his supposed 17-year law enforcement career. But here's the problem. The truth and the image never lined up, because according to APOST, the Alabama Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, the very body that certifies law enforcement in this state, they have no record of him. None. Zero. Now, let me give credit where it's due. This was found out by Criminally Curious Podcast, a.k.a. Michael Fleming. If you're not familiar with him, he is awesome. Very intelligent guy. He was the investigator behind the Secrets True Crime podcast. He knows his stuff, and he is who dug this up. He sent a letter to APOST requesting TJ Armstrong status, and they sent him a letter back. So if you're not following Criminally Curious Podcast, please go follow him. And he just came out with a new podcast too, telling you you won't be disappointed in his stuff. But this letter is directly from Chief Alan Benfield of APOST. And it says, Dear Mr. Fleming, this letter is in response to your request for information. APOST does not have any records on file regarding certification for the above named individual, which he's talking about, Arthur Leon TJ Armstrong. A record search utilizing name and date of birth was conducted without results. I hope this letter will address your request. So, there you have it. Literal proof. He has never been APOST certified. Now I'd gotten messages about this guy over the past few months claiming that he wasn't certified. And honestly, I never even looked into it, because I know at this point I should not be surprised about anything there. And most stuff I'm not now. But I knew how long he had been with Nick Smith and had a badge and a weapon on and acted as a police officer. I honestly thought there was no way he was not certified. I never even dug into it. Thankfully, Criminally Curious Podcast did. So think about that. He started out wearing a badge under Nick Smith at the parish police department. Then, when Nick Smith won the sheriff's seat for Walker County, Alabama, Armstrong just slides right on in over to the Walker County Sheriff's Office. Only difference, bigger stage. Now, for over 7 years, this guy operated in the shadows of legitimacy, not because he had earned it, not because he had passed through the training pipeline like every other deputy in this state, but because Nick Smith handed him a uniform and a badge and a weapon and gave him a role. That's it. And let me remind you, Nick Smith has already been arrested for hiring uncertified deputies. That's not speculation. That's fact. So the question we ought to be asking is this: he didn't learn? Or is it he's just so arrogant, so confident that no one would stop him, that he thought he could just keep doing it? Because if TJ Armstrong was walking around with him with that badge all this time, Nick knew. And since he knew, maybe he deserves another indictment. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, let's be real. This is the same pattern of behavior. This isn't some brand new scheme. It's the exact same offense. arming, badging, and legitimizing someone who had no certification to hold that power. And we're not talking about a clerical error. We're talking about the authority to arrest, the authority to seize property, the authority to carry a weapon and represent the law. That's pretty serious stuff. Now, let me tell you what really blows the top off for me. Remember the Tony Mitchell case? You know, the one that shocked the county and spread across the nation when video came out showing his torture in the jail. And you remember that video, the story I did, the podcast I did on Nick Smith and his other two right-hand men that went out, illegally falsified a search warrant and got a judge to sign it, and then illegally went to random citizens out in Walker County attempting to seize their personal cell phones just because they thought they may have the video of the Tony Mitchell incident, and they were trying to bury all of that. You remember, and I said it was 3 people? TJ Armstrong was one of those 3. Verified that this morning. So TJ Armstrong was one of those. Out there knocking on doors, trying to snatch up evidence that would expose what really went down inside the jail. Wearing a badge, wearing a weapon, handcuffs, pretending to be a police officer when he never was. And I'm going to pause right here and just talk to you plainly. How much more proof do people need that that agency, that county is rotten from the top down? You've got uncertified deputies running around pretending to be legitimate officers, actively intimidating citizens, and trying to cover up crimes and covering up some crimes. And when the heat finally starts to rise, the sheriff's office acts shocked, like they didn't know. But here's the truth. They knew. They've always known. Here's the thing that makes my blood boil. Armstrong wasn't just some background guy. He wasn't just a quiet desk worker or file clerk. He was the face of the sheriff's office, the public information officer. He was the mouthpiece. When something went down, when questions came up, he was the guy standing in front of the cameras, speaking on behalf of the entire agency. And he did it all under the title of deputy sheriff, a title he never had a right to hold. Let's step back into reality and think about that. You've got families in Walker County grieving their loved ones. You've got citizens demanding accountability. You've got journalists asking tough questions. And the main man answering them, deflecting, spinning, shaping the narrative, wasn't even certified to wear the badge that he was wearing, literally lying his entire career. That was the face of the Walker County Sheriff's Office. Now, let me put this into perspective for you. If you or I walked around with a badge, a weapon, cuffs, calling ourselves deputy sheriff, you know what that is? That's a felony in the state of Alabama. That's impersonating a police officer. And we'd be in jail before the day was over. No questions asked. Even though I myself was a certified law enforcement officer through APOSTC for a little over 17 years, lawfully carrying a badge. But I'm not now. Therefore, I can't go out and pretend. It's a very serious crime, as it should be. TJ Armstrong has been doing that for almost maybe 17 years, but TJ Armstrong, nah, he gets to ride that wave because Nick Smith opened the door and let him. That's the double standard. That's the rot in the system. So where do we go from here? Well, that's the question we have to keep pressing. The facts are laid out, clearly black and white paper from APOSTC saying no certification ever. The sheriff's office knowingly employed him. He carried a weapon and a badge under false pretenses. And most importantly, he was involved in some of the dirtiest cover-up moves I've ever seen in law enforcement. And guess where he is now? Still walking the streets. How is he not behind bars? How? What needs to happen next is accountability. Real accountability. Not just a slap on the wrist. Not just a press release that says, oh, he's no longer employed here. Because he's not. Weird how he got out of there right when all the Tony Mitchell stuff started to happen, after it happened. Strange, right? If you or I would face the charges for impersonating an officer, then why wouldn't he? If Nick Smith has already been arrested for this very same thing, then why wouldn't this case count just the same? Nick Smith still still, it's not many, but he still has a few supporters in that county somehow. Somehow. I honestly don't know how much more evidence we could show y'all to convince you otherwise. Actually, I mean, if you're still supporting him, there's no hope in you. Nobody's changing your mind. So there's no need in any of us even attempting to change your mind, because that's not going to happen. You've got some issues in your mind, hopefully not as bad as Nick Smith and Mr. Armstrong, but you've got some issues that you need to probably get taken care of, because no sane person at all could still support him. No way. So I'll leave you with this thought, because I want it to sit heavy. How many other TJ Armstrongs are out there? How many other deputies or officers in Walker County are strapping on the uniform every day without certification? Because somebody at the top decided the rules don't apply to them, obviously years ago. And how many more times do we have to uncover it before somebody, such as, I don't know, maybe Aaliyah, maybe the state, maybe the organization that's supposed to be policing themselves, such as the Alabama Sheriff's Association? Where are they? You want me to tell you where they are? While Nick Smith is doing whatever the hell he wants up there, tons of corruption, doing whatever he wants, ruining people's lives, destroying families in that county. The organization that's supposed to be policing themselves, that claim they police themselves, is the Alabama Sheriff's Association. To date, I have not seen one of the 67 sheriffs in Alabama, or not counting Nick Smith, 66, speak out against Nick Smith. Not one. Where are you? Because I've had enough. The citizens of Walker County have had enough. Enough is enough. Step up and do your job and police yourselves like you say you're supposed to. Step up and police yourself like you say that you do. Because right now, there is literally no evidence that you police yourselves. You want me to start naming the sheriffs that's ended up in federal prison in the last 10 years and or state prison? You're not doing a good job of policing yourselves. And I know quite a few of you and have so much respect for you. And I know you know what you're doing. And I know you're a good person. So why has that organization not came out and spoke against this? Why? We're waiting. Walker County needs you right now. I'm telling you, if I could show you, if I could sit down with any other sheriff in this state for 20 minutes and show you just the messages I get from citizens up there of how legit scared they are while you're sitting there not doing anything. That's your job. As I said, y'all claim that you police yourselves. We'll get to policing. People need your help. What else do we need to show you? What else? I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm not going to stop laying it out, because the people of Walker County deserve better. They deserve deputies who are trained, certified, and accountable, not hand-picked cronies who play dress up with a badge while the community is paying the price. So yeah, the answer to your question is clear now. No, TJ Armstrong was never a certified law enforcement officer in Alabama. He was a fraud in a badge. And if that doesn't make your blood boil, then nothing will. For years. I've joked on some of my other podcast episodes about how some of the deputies may not be certified. Now we literally are going to have to dig and see just how many are not, because I guarantee there's no way it's just these. There's no way. At this point, there is literally no telling how many deputies at that agency have never been certified, or police officers in that county for all the city police departments there. Because again, TJ Armstrong was at one of those before he went to the sheriff's office, and he was playing dress up, pretending to be a police officer there. And Nick Smith has said something in one of his interviews after he got arrested for employing the other ones. He said, "Why aren't the other agencies in this county being looked into for this?" That may be one time he is actually telling the truth, that he actually knew what he's talking about, because it sounds like the other ones. So I'm telling you right now, any police officer in that county every single one of you is going to be looked at to see if you're actually certified. And if you're not, it's going to come out. So if you're working as a police officer right now in that county, at any agency, then I suggest you go resign today, because it's going to come out. Trust me on that.